Blown up instantly. Now Boston are in a power position. The tables have definitely turned. Losing faith isn't ideal here, and I'm37 has to be careful of the Diva shutting him down. Tries to fan the hammer, doesn't find the kill, but Myeongbong finishes it off here. This could be a real messy series, Matt.
I mean, with these type of compositions, right, it's gonna be a little bit all over the place. And I think for Boston, you play that right at the start. You don't end up winning it in the long run. Obviously, the Moira and the Reaper.
To get himself out of trouble now, considering duplication's a little riskier. Only returning with 100 HP. He has the ability to put some distance between him and a minefield as well. Good start here for the Defiant. They're still ahead in percentage, and now the fight moves to the point. Mines all over the point. Set down by Stand 1. And nice getting removed here. Takes away a lot of that pressure for Boston.
Yeah, and Gibbo's able to get both supports. That's set up really by a beautiful biotic grenade from Myeongbong. So the biotic grenade connects with both supports. Doesn't really matter what they're doing at that time. Deep in from Hisu, and just a little bit of pressure. The supports aren't in line of sight to give him any healing.
Well, they do stop the cap for a while at the very least here. That Death Blossom doesn't find much, and Myeongbong goes down here, so I'm37 has to just make a play of the rounds over here and now. Stand 1 might have done the job himself, actually. Getting rid of Hisu and Lastro there, and now the rest of the Uprising can make their way onto the point. This could be a little bit tight. We'll see Ansoon J just trying to stay alive here. And notice the Defiant haven't given up the point quite yet. The reinforcements are on the way. Ansoon J trying to speed them back into the action. Lastro isn't here yet. Remember, a longer fight for the Defiant's composition isn't necessarily going to be a boon for them. They want to try and go for the throat as soon as they can. And because this is dragged out, they've lost Michelle's mech. And it has to be a Wraith Walk away for Hisu.
And they're going to back out. If Michelle had, you're going to get a Primal Rage during this as well.
Minefield is really annoying. Michelle can't really peek out, but he tries to create some space anyway with the self-destruct, and the Defiant sort of file out onto the point, trying to avoid as much of the minefield as possible. They were hiding inside for a while, though, and that meant that Nice had very little support in the air. Hisu, who's had really limited impact this round, eventually gets taken down by Gavulsi, and the numbers favor the Uprising now. Very difficult for Ansoon J to have any impact from that position, let alone get away alive. And there's a self-destruct here for the Diva, so the Uprising
position with the McCree again. This is pretty similar to what we saw the Atlanta Reign try and do, although you're running this with a Winston Diva instead of playing the Orisa and just kind of sitting in place. So man, Sato gets so low. Another biotic grenade though from Myeongbong connects with Michelle. You'll get a D-Mech onto him. You also connected with it on the Lastro, and you know, this is probably going to give, it's going to give Boston Uprising, their team wipe here in the point.
Myeongbong has been the
sick.
issue. Yeah, he is extremely dangerous here.
Stand 1 will get the nano. He gets knocked back with the coach gun. They sleep Sato as well when Sato comes in, and they're going to be able to burn him down. Gets hit with a biotic grenade, and just the bob to the point here is Boston has really controlled this thus far.
That nano was really supposed to build Primal Rage for Sato, but he never had a chance to do damage while he was boosted. Slept, and then flashed immediately. That from Nice, I mean, easy come, easy go when you're copying those grabs. He sends that one across the map. Good little turnaround, but he still has to respect the fact that Stand 1 is in position on the...
I was going to say, even if Boston were to lose the point, they're still going to get it near the end, but they have so many reinforcements coming off spawn. Is that you can use Primal here to keep it going. You're going to have Grab, you probably save that. But they're going to get this to 99. They're going to put in one fight territory straight away. So this is really good for Boston, even though they may lose the point.
It appears that Stand 1 purposely didn't use Primal Rage there, despite the fact that the Uprising maybe had a look-in chance in that fight, in hopes maybe seconds to stay alive, and then he has to hit the sleep dart. That shouldn't be too hard for him. Valentine, I wonder if he's tracking that cooldown. Hard to say. He backs away though, and eventually the sleep dart comes online. Nice is down. And the Defiant are struggling here. This is where the Uprising make their way back in, and it all starts with a nano-boosted Stand 1 into the back line. Lastro was occupied for so long that the front line, for the Defiant got crushed. Oh, I saw that nano-boosted Diva going down the well. It slept. Not what you want to see, Matt.
No.
Trying to get him to turn his head to the right by the looks of things. Nothing more than that here. Okay, he's down early. Oh my, how does Stand 1 get so deep? He's got himself into the cookie jar and he's found the prize.
He wrapped around towards like where the Mega Health Pack is lower. That's what gives him the jump cooldown to actually kind of chase Stand 1.
Oh, man.
To chase Sato. Sato actually, he tries to body block the high ground.
The Uprising want to start this fight off here. Myeongbong sends that nano over to Valentine, who does not have duplicate quite yet, and they've lost Stand 1. Not a great start.
You get a rest though. It's right around the corner, and this will be the duplicate that comes in from Valentine, and Lastro goes down straight away. It's the double Winston coming for Hangzhou. That is something you do not want to see. Is on the other side of the map, away from the double Winston, we actually had a grab.
You can sort of punish the lack of Ashe presence. Sato's lost his bubble, he gets just blown up. Just both DPS focusing down that Winston. And the Defiant have struggled to keep him alive at times already in this round. Someone slept, but he probably expects that from this at this stage. Now he just wakes up and has Primal. That's not good.
And I think with these combinations, and you kind of look at both teams,
Is there to help peel for that backline a little bit more. And that theoretically is probably some of what Michelle's job is. But, I mean, their defensive approach isn't really holding up against Boston as they test them. They keep pushing Stan 1 in front of him, saying, deal with this threat now, otherwise you're going to lose the fight. Valentine gets a duplicate. He'll be able to create a ton of space with his self-destruct. With Nice having already gone down, and UM37 return to the fight. It's all Boston all the time right now. That's a nasty stagger for Michelle there. He'll get back in the mech, but
he's on this high ground behind, and Sato is there as well. And it's just Stan 1 pushing the supports back. He's got a nano boost, pushes them all the way in the spawn.
He'll probably be able to build a Primal. I mean, this is perfect. Lastro has to nade himself once more. He can't be aggressive, not nearly as much as he'd want to. The healing boost is handy because he's being pocketed by the Mercy, but eventually Stan 1 gets him. It buys a little bit of time, I suppose, but Stan 1 says, no, you're not resing this. There's no way this is happening. And he doesn't even have to use Primal Rage now if he doesn't want to. He may need to. Yeah, it takes a bit much damage from Michelle there, but that'll do the job. Michelle's knocked over the edge, and Stan 1 is actually tearing the Defiant apart.
He's just dominating them, especially the back.
Definitely on the cards. There's your Dragon Strike. Danny, unfortunately no hold to follow it up. Wait a minute, this could be bad. Sato with the Primal Rage. He gets towards the supports. Hit with a Bio Nade, but he's not too bothered at all. Stan 1 is brought back into the fight, but there's not much support for him, just a Valking Faith. So maybe it buys some sort of time here, but Nice is poised to hit a Graviton Surge as soon as he finds a target to shoot. Gabolsi's trying to make that very, very hard for him. He won't get it in time, but still they'll pretty much have the point here. You need to eat that one up. Look at him, Gabolsi turns around. How do I protect my supports, he asks. That's the grab, keeps Nice in position on that corner. Looks like Ansun J was actually able to get away from it here. And the duplication for Nice is now over. Here is where the Uprising get nasty. Stan 1, Primal Rage was hit with a Body Grenade before he went for the Primal though, so he still needs to be careful. Valentine builds Primal very quickly, Matt.
Oh yeah, he gets the Primal. Gonna get nothing with it. But now if they don't play the Mercy, they end up playing the Break here for extra survivability.
Oh, that is wrong! What a combo! Across the map, Myunbong sends in the Body Grenade. It's followed up on by Valentine, and Hangzhou disintegrates. He's going to be resurrected here, but it's still not the foot you want to start on. Valentine eventually is punished for just how deep he went, and it's a player disadvantage now for the Boston Uprising. Stan 1 in a decent position to pressure the backline, but can't commit too heavily, especially not now without his Zarya. That card is on the move here.
Lock, you're in position to get a pretty smooth win here.
Grabbed it. Oh my! Gabolsi wasn't ready for that. I don't even know if Michelle was. It looks like the defense matrix must have clipped through Gabolsi's model just enough to eat that grab up. You do need to respect the presence of the Diva there, and not a great start for Gabolsi here in his debut game, but still the Uprising are well ahead, so they'll regroup here. He's doused with a Body Grenade is Gabolsi, so backs away, but he's going to go for a flanking grab here. Oh, the audacity of it, Matt! And it's a disaster for the Defiant.
Oh, I mean, that is one way to make a name for yourself. Boston really giving it to him. Are they going to be able to get a touch? It's going to be Sato who barely makes it.
Coach Gun from 37 is going to get pressured in a moment here. He's not able to stay alive, but Stan 1 comes home, realizes, wait, no supports? Wow, well, that's unfortunate. Hangzhou is removed here, of course. There was another Winston on the map, but this is getting a little bit dicier now. The Defiant, though, they are isolated from their reinforcements. I like the Ana duplication here, but Myunbong shut them down with a Body Grenade. So Nice couldn't really keep his tank alive at all. Still in position to do some work. Another Bio Nade from Myunbong, though. Again, talk about a base player who wants this far.
Yeah, shield pressure. I guess you're going to play that game, but you're not really going to be able to enable your Echo if you're not going to put some pressure on the enemy Widow.
Also, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to pressure the enemy Echo. Just because the slight arrow drop in a fast-moving target, it's a little bit difficult. Valentine, again, he should get slimed once more. And the Uprising, it's a scrappy fight, and the one that they just don't look much better in here. Double shield definitely looks to be the domain so far of the Toronto Defiant, Matthew.
Yeah, and I also just think that their composition plays out a little bit better here. Like you mentioned, the damage. It's tough.
Yeah, Toronto look much more comfortable presently. Hisu's playing an unbelievably safe, conservative angle here. Doesn't find anything, but it doesn't matter. The rest of his team's done most of the work. Valentine already went down to nice tier.
This is tragic for Boston. I mean, they haven't done a thing. They haven't done a thing. Get it over the line at the end.
I mean, there it is. Like, I'm 37 looking for nice. He duplicates in air. I'm 37 finds that kill. So that's an amped arrow to headshot. Unnecessary overkill there, but still gets the job done. The Uprising can move now. Gravitic Flux, though, is an interesting decision. I'm not sure what gets caught there. Valentine duplicated, so it's not like a huge ultimate really goes by the wayside. And he'll be able to push up a little bit more now. We are in overtime, by the way, so it had to happen here or not at all for the Boston Uprising. And they do come up with the goods, but they had to spend heavily in order to do so.
A Sigma duplicate.
Oh, that was very clever. Yeah, I mean, you see the kinetic grasp, you know, you just go for the accretion. Valentine couldn't build a Gravitic Flux, which definitely would have been one of the biggest ultimates to come by at this part. So, clutch play there from the Defiant to shut down the gambit of the Uprising. But he saw Lastro still fallen here. There's definitely an option for the Uprising. Crucially, Stand 1 is healthy and will have a new shield right about now. Lastro's brought back into the fight, but it might just be a little bit too late because the front line of the Defiant is getting absolutely battered. Dragon Strike, maybe not even needed there, but the Uprising displays some more of their signature grit and they unlock the last phase of the map.
This has got to be out of the position of it.
And Matrix from Myunbong here. That's a Dragon Strike that's going to be hard to avoid. And yep, the Uprising have very little choice but to succumb. And this gives Hisu the ideal platform to spring forth from. Now 35 seconds left in the round. Take note of that, especially after Myunbong there obviously using an air mate. This in non-double shield comps, right? The off-angle Sigma, the pincer play from the attackers. Nice gets caught there after the duplicate. It's going to be a Gravitic Flux. That's a organic one. That's from Michelle. It doesn't catch though. Good accretion. This is going to make it a little bit hard to get use out of this amp matrix for the Defiant, even though their placement was better. They get on 37. That's unamped. That's a mercy damage boost, and Hisu is the savior right now. Flanks around the backside. Dragon Strike, another one that's very hard to get away from for the Uprising, but somehow they turn it around. Oh no! Hisu looked to be so... That means that it's a player advantage essentially for the Uprising in the front line. Myunbong there, Amp Matrix, he's low though, and doesn't want to use his regenerative burst right now, so that's quite disciplined of him. And it doesn't come back to punish him. He needs to adjust to get line of sight though, and I think that's, yeah, I guess those moments where he's out of line of sight is where his front line gets massacred.
But this is, it is kind of like tactical the way that Boston died to their space, because they want to deny this from even happening, but Toronto ends up using some ults. That'll be a Gravitic Flux from Gabulsi, is Stand 1's going to get blown up before he can even get towards the bridge.
Yeah. And there's no damage to follow it up here. So this Dragon Strike from Hisu could be super nasty. Yep, I mean, Gabulsi gets blown up instantly. Much scarier if you're Boston dealing with a Dragon Strike than if you're Toronto, because you're committed to the choke of the Uprising. You're in the bottleneck trying to contend.
Much about that kind of brawl as the tank line, but you know, if an Echo can get over the top and get
that's big.
Some early damage boosted damage and then get a focusing beam, you get an early pick straight away with not a huge risk of a player going down. So,
I mean, Matt, look at I'm 37. This guy is, he's a playmaker. His face is so impassive, right? You can see he's just really concentrated either, I suppose. Silver linings. Anyway, they're going to keep going. They've got a bunch of ultimates to work with here. Lastro's already used the Air Matrix, and I'm 37 just gets straight up caught. Gabulsi probably goes very low here. Double Air Matrix, double Immortality Field, by the way. They both get removed with consummate ease, though. And the Uprising, in an attempt to duplicate a support, still doesn't look good when they do it. The Uprising. Okay, they get rid of Immortality Fields. Crucially, Myunbong had a moment where he was pressured away. He wouldn't have been able to heal Valentine anyway, just because he's Baptiste. Hisu is down now, so their Brig will probably start to get some more value now as the Uprising can push forward, play more aggressive.
And this is so smart, the way that Boston has played this. You know, every time I've kind of mentioned, the spots that they're playing on defense and being able to get these like second and third fights in scenarios, these are the fights that Toronto have time. They don't really have anything to work with.
That Dragon Strike, that's a clever one. A little bit hard to get away from here. It does leave Michelle on an off angle, but that's what Michelle excels at doing, is Sigma anyway. The rest of the fight looks atrocious for the Uprising.
Oh, terrible.
The Gravitic Flux is a decent setup, I suppose. And the Boston Uprising are going to have to defend on the third part of the map here, Matthew. No choice.
And the worst part about Boston's final fight here is you get under a minute to go, you have an ultimate advantage going in that small choke, you feel like you're in a great spot to win.
That's a big pick. Nice is down. He had a duplicate available, Matthew. I don't even think now. Okay, so Orisa copied for Valentine. That's got to seal the deal. Gravitic Flux is just the cherry on top. Get a free supercharger. And that is a fight done. I do wonder, Matthew, whether the Flux is required there. The Uprising spent a lot on a fight where Valentine...
Get a duplicate on somebody. A lot of shields in the way.
Oh! Oh, nice. Almost gets a little bit too close to the gaping maw of the Dragon Strike, but Sato's not going to be able to get away. This could be it. The Uprising, it's the little things, the intangibles between the fights that the Uprising have just had a better approach to. And this is the kind of reward they may well get to reap. With Ansun J and Lastro both down, you know this fight is going to be over, and it's slow. Nice comes out of Duplicate with very little teammates to work with here, and yes, it's messy. Yes, there'll be an overtime here. Myeonbong, okay, that's a little bit dangerous. He guys tries to go for the Immortality Field and gets taken down anyway. Sato's causing some serious problems as a Wrecking Ball. It's not Dragon, but all the Uprising are grouped predictably. So a good chance for Hishu to get value out of this anyway, and they do. They know the IM-37 was coming. They didn't need the Orisa to set up the Dragon Strike. Perfect execution, and now the Uprising are in dire straits. Nice is back on the legs, and the Helix Rocket connects with Myeonbong, sends him packing, and we have overtime.
He's over by like...
He's so safe.
He's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. IM-37 has to be careful. And look, that's what he was able to do now. Because he sees this coming, because he's playing a little bit safe, he's able to get a bunch of kills. You know, like, live to fight another day and eventually just have an impact like that. Cannot fault the guy. Very impressive stuff in the Defiant here. They know that they're going to get some cheese, something crazy thrown at them. IM-37 on the Hangzhou has to do something.
Echo Mercy up in the sky.
Oh!
At that scenario, though, you got to push forward, and they do.
Great push, but is it too much for the Uprising? They might have got a little bit too close to the sun. Gabushi did get an Immortality Field, but got taken down eventually. And there's Nice. Of course, the pocket from the Mercy goes a long way, but Faith on the brick gets rid of Mercy. That's what the Uprising were looking for. They're going to run Hishu right out of town. And just when Toronto looked like they'll be able to keep the series alive, they might be in trouble. Sato, that's a crucial stall. He's able to get through and not get stunned up. Michelle having some similar luck here. He'll touch, but he'll go down very low. I mean, good kinetic grasp keeps him alive a lot longer than he otherwise would have been, but that Dragon Strike is going to clear out the riffraff. And the Boston Uprising now can push up a little bit more, take some space, and take a bow. A big victory here over the Toronto Defiant. And their fortunes are starting to reverse.
Some really surprising results today as Boston ends up getting the 3-0 here against Toronto.